Hello and welcome to this explainer. Today, we are going to uncover the massive health benefits of a garden vegetable that honestly is way too often ignored. We're going to explore exactly why Swiss chard supports health in ways that might completely surprise you. So get ready because we are about to elevate a humble, colorful leaf into an absolute nutritional superstar. Okay, let's dive right into this. We all know the celebrity greens, right? Kale and spinach get absolutely all the great PR. They're the darlings of the smoothie world, they're everywhere in the grocery store aisles. But then we have our overlooked underdog, Swiss chard. It's this highly productive, incredibly vibrant garden staple that consistently gets overshadowed by its famous leafy cousins. But as you'll see today, it is every bit as powerful. So here is our roadmap for today. First, we'll look at why it's considered an overlooked superfood, and then we'll unpack the nutrition. From there, we'll take a head-to-toe anatomical tour of the health benefits, cover a really quick oxalate exception, and finally, look at how to actually get this powerhouse from the garden to your plate. Let's start with Section 1, the overlooked superfood, our garden-hardy hero. You know, the very first thing you need to understand about Swiss chard is how incredibly easy it is to grow. Unlike other greens that bolt and turn super bitter the second it gets warm outside, chard is just wonderfully hardy. It tolerates the summer heat, it handles light frosts. In fact, in much of the southern United States, a single plant can keep producing fresh leaves for nearly an entire year. But honestly, this brings up a classic gardener's dilemma. Because it's so easy to grow, people end up with way more Swiss chard than they know what to do with. And ironically, this abundance is exactly what causes people to completely overlook its actual nutritional value. We just kind of tend to take for granted what comes easily, you know? And that brings us to Section 2, unpacking the nutrition. It's time for a data dive. Look, most of us fall short on our recommended vegetable intake, especially those dark leafy greens that literally consistently rank among the healthiest foods on the planet. So what makes Swiss chard so nutritious? What is actually hiding inside those vibrant leaves? Now, what's really interesting about this data is the sheer density of the nutrients. In just 100 grams of cooked Swiss chard, you are getting massive amounts of vitamin K and vitamin A. But pay really close attention to the magnesium at 81 milligrams and potassium at 960 milligrams. These are absolutely vital nutrients that people commonly fall way short on in their standard diets. And the really crucial point here is that Swiss chard delivers all of these vitamins, minerals, and plant compounds while contributing almost zero saturated fat or cholesterol. And this brilliantly illustrates the best part. 25, that is the number of calories you are consuming to get that entire list of nutrients we just looked at. I mean, you get a massive nutritional return on investment for a mere 25 calories per 100 cooked grams. It's incredible. So let's take all of that incredible data and actually apply it to the human body. In Section 3, head-to-toe health benefits. We're going to start right at the top, focusing on the eyes and the brain. Swiss chard owes its vibrant green color to carotenoids, specifically lutein and zeaxanthin. Now, these pigments actually accumulate right in your retina, and once they're there, well, they essentially act like internal sunglasses. They filter out harmful blue light and protect your eye tissues from oxidative damage, which, by the way, is associated with a lower risk of macular degeneration and cataracts. But it doesn't just stop at the eyes. Emerging research shows lutein also accumulates in brain tissue, potentially protecting your neurons from oxidative stress and inflammation. This means eating this green could actually support your memory and cognitive function as you age. Moving down the body, let's talk about metabolic health and blood sugar. Swiss chard is a remarkably smart choice for metabolic support. The fiber in chard slows down carbohydrate digestion, preventing those rapid, exhausting spikes in blood glucose right after meals. Then you've got the magnesium we talked about earlier, which is heavily involved in regulating vital insulin signaling. Add in the polyphenols that reduce inflammation, and honestly, it is no wonder large observational studies consistently link eating more leafy greens to a lower risk of developing type 2 diabetes. Now, we need to clear up a very, very common point of confusion. Swiss chard is naturally rich in dietary nitrates. And I know, when some people hear the word nitrate, they immediately panic thinking about processed hot dogs. But the nitrates found naturally in vegetables are vastly different from the processed nitrates used to cure deli meats. In fact, these natural dietary nitrates are actually a cardiovascular superpower. Let's look at the science and see how this builds into an amazing biological reaction through a really fascinating three-step sequence. Step 1, you consume the dietary nitrate from the chard. Step 2 actually happens right in your mouth. Beneficial bacteria convert that dietary nitrate into nitrite. Finally, in step 3, your body takes that nitrite and converts it into nitric oxide inside the body. So why is that nitric oxide so important? Well, it delivers powerful cardiovascular benefits. Nitric oxide basically acts as a signal to your blood vessels, literally telling them to relax. This improves blood flow, lowers blood pressure, supports healthy endothelial function, and it even improves oxygen delivery during exercise. This incredible mouth-to-blood vessel sequence helps explain exactly why diets rich in leafy greens are so deeply associated with lower rates of cardiovascular disease. We'll finish our anatomical tour down at the bones. We've all been taught that strong bones just require a glass of milk for the calcium, right? But strong skeletons require so much more than that. And Swiss Chard supports this beautifully. It has vitamin K to activate bone mineralization proteins. It provides magnesium to literally help build the bone structure itself. It offers potassium, which may help reduce the amount of calcium you lose through your urine. And yes, of course, it provides its own calcium to maintain overall bone strength. It's a complete package for healthy aging. Now, for the sake of transparency, we do need to pause for section 4, the oxalate exception. Just think of this as a quick neutral speed bump. Like spinach, Swiss chard naturally contains oxalates. For most healthy people, the nutrients far outweigh any risks. However, if you have a history of calcium oxalate kidney stones, you'll definitely want to moderate your portions. A really great tip here is to boil your Swiss chard for several minutes and then just discard the cooking water. This significantly lowers the soluble oxalate content. Also, because chard is so exceptionally high in vitamin K, anyone taking the blood thinner warfarin should ensure they maintain a consistent intake of these greens, rather than suddenly binging them or completely eliminating them. As always, chat with your healthcare provider about your specific dietary needs. All right, let's pivot back to the fun part in section 5, from garden to plate. How do we actually make this stuff delicious? If you are suffering from leafy green fatigue and you're just totally tired of standard salads, Swiss chard's mild, earthy flavor makes it incredibly versatile. You can toss it into soups, curries, and grain bowls. One particularly brilliant idea I love is to mix chopped chard into a hearty, savory oatmeal with mushrooms, onions, garlic, and beans for breakfast. Or you can take those massive, beautiful leaves, blanch them for just 30 to 60 seconds until they're nice and flexible, and use them as highly nutritious handheld sandwich wraps filled with rice and hummus. And what about that gardener's dilemma we talked about at the very beginning, having way too much chard? Well, it freezes beautifully. Just follow 4 simple steps. Wash and chop the leaves, blanch them in boiling water for 2 to 3 minutes, plunge them immediately into ice water to stop the cooking process, and then simply drain, squeeze, and freeze them in airtight bags. You will have an amazing stash of nutrient-dense greens ready for winter soups, casseroles, and smoothies all year long. So we arrive at our final thought. If this forgotten superfood can protect your eyes from blue light, generate nitric oxide for your heart, and provide the exact building blocks your bones need to stay strong as you age, isn't it time to make a little room on your plate? Swiss chard might not have the celebrity status of kale, but as part of a whole food, plant-based diet, it is genuinely one of nature's most nutritious gifts. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I highly encourage you to go grab some Swiss chard this week.